Imagine someone walks up to you and says, "You are a failure." What actually happened? A person spoke a sentence. That's it. The sentence itself is an event. But immediately, your mind may add another layer. They think I'm worthless. Everyone must think I'm a failure. I need to defend myself. How dare they say that? I have to prove them wrong. The original event was small. Your interpretation made it enormous. This is one of the central ideas in Stoic philosophy. Epictetus emphasized that human beings are disturbed not simply by events, but by the judgments they make about those events. Someone says something, your mind gives it meaning, then your emotions respond to that meaning. This distinction is extremely powerful. Suppose someone says, "You are stupid." You can ask, is this a fact, or is this someone's opinion? Maybe you made a mistake. If so, learn from it. Maybe the person is angry. Maybe they are jealous. Maybe they are deliberately trying to provoke you. Maybe they misunderstood you. Maybe there is some truth in their criticism. The Stoic does not immediately accept or reject the statement. The Stoic examines it. Instead of reacting emotionally, ask, is there anything useful here? If yes, learn. If no, release it. This gives you your first rule. Do not automatically treat an insult as truth. Someone's opinion about you is not a verdict on your character. The most important Stoic distinction is simple. Some things are within your control. Other things are not. You can control your judgment. You can control your response. You can control your words. You can control whether you remain respectful. You can control whether you walk away. You can control whether you learn from criticism. But you cannot control another person's mouth. You cannot control what they think. You cannot control whether they like you. You cannot control whether they misunderstand you. You cannot control whether someone decides to insult you. And this is where many people lose their peace. They try to control what cannot be controlled. They think, how can I make this person respect me? How can I make everyone understand me? How can I stop people from talking about me? How can I make them regret insulting me? But the Stoic asks a different question. What is mine to control right now? The answer is your response. Imagine someone insults you at work. You cannot control what they say, but you can control whether you shout. You can control whether you insult them back. You can control whether you calmly explain yourself. You can control whether you leave the conversation. You can control whether you allow their behavior to destroy your entire day. That is freedom, not controlling everyone around you. Controlling yourself. Do not give someone else the remote control to your emotions. Think about this. If another person's words can instantly control your mood, then that person has been given access to your mind. They can say one sentence and make you angry. Another sentence can make you sad. Another sentence can make you insecure. Another sentence can ruin your entire day. Imagine giving someone a remote control and saying, "Here, you decide how I feel today." That sounds ridiculous, but emotionally, many people live exactly like this. The Stoics wanted to break that habit. When someone insults you, pause. Don't answer immediately. Take one breath, then another. Create a small space between what happened and what you do next. That space is incredibly valuable, because your first emotional impulse is not always your wisest response. Anger says, attack. Ego says, prove yourself. Fear says, defend yourself. Wisdom says, pause. The pause is where your freedom lives. The power of silence. One of the most misunderstood Stoic responses to insults is silence. Silence does not mean weakness. Sometimes silence is discipline. Imagine someone tries to provoke you. They expect anger. They expect shouting. They expect you to defend yourself. They expect an emotional reaction. But you simply look at them calmly and say, "I understand," or "That's your opinion." And then you move on. You have refused to participate in the emotional game. This is powerful because many insults are not actually attempts to communicate. They are attempts to provoke. The person doesn't want a conversation. They want a reaction. If you give them the reaction they wanted, they may feel successful. But if you remain calm, their strategy loses its power. Of course, silence is not always appropriate. If someone is making a serious accusation, damaging your reputation, threatening you, or crossing an important boundary, you may need to speak. Stoicism does not mean becoming passive. It means choosing your response deliberately. Sometimes the wise response is silence. Sometimes it is a calm explanation. Sometimes it is a firm boundary. And sometimes it is walking away. The key is that you choose. Are worthless? Of course not. Their behavior tells you something about them. This doesn't mean every criticism should be ignored, but it does mean you should examine the source. Ask, who is saying this? Why are they saying it? Do they know me well? Do they have evidence? Is there something useful in what they're saying? Are they trying to help me or provoke me? These questions turn emotional reactions into thoughtful analysis. The difference between insult and criticism. This distinction can change your life. An insult attacks your identity. Criticism points toward behavior. For example, you are useless. That's an insult. You missed an important deadline, and it affected the team. That's criticism. The first attacks your worth. The second identifies an action. A Stoic should be willing to hear criticism. Why? Because improvement requires honesty. If someone tells you something uncomfortable but useful, don't reject it simply because it hurts. Painful truth can be valuable. Suppose someone tells you, you interrupt people too often. Your first instinct may be, who are you to say that? But pause. Maybe they are right. If you discover that you really do interrupt people, then the criticism has given you an opportunity to improve. Your ego may dislike the message. Your character can benefit from it. This is why emotional maturity requires asking, does this hurt because it is false or because it is true? That question can be uncomfortable, but it can also be transformative. If the criticism is true, use it. Imagine someone says, you're always late. You become angry. You want to argue, but deep down, you know you have been late repeatedly. What should you do? Not defend your ego. Improve your behavior. Say, you're right. I need to work on that. That's strength. You don't become smaller by admitting a mistake. You become stronger. A fragile ego says, I must always look perfect. A strong character says, I don't need to look perfect. I need to become better. This is one of the most powerful differences between ego and Stoic discipline. You don't need to protect a false image of yourself. You need to build a better version of yourself. So when criticism arrives, don't ask only, how dare they say that? Ask, can this make me better? If yes, take the lesson. Then leave the emotional drama behind. If the insult is false, you still don't need to panic. Now suppose the criticism is completely false. Someone says something about you that isn't true. What should you do? First, remember, a false statement does not become true simply because it is spoken confidently. Someone can say, you are dishonest. That doesn't make you dishonest. Someone can say, you will never succeed. That doesn't predict your future. Someone can say, nobody respects you. That doesn't make it reality. You know your actions. You know your intentions. And over time, character becomes visible. You do not have to defend yourself against every sentence spoken about you. Sometimes your behavior over time is the best answer. Let people talk. Build your character. Keep your conduct consistent. Eventually, reality has a way of becoming louder than. Stop trying to win every argument. This is one of the hardest lessons. You do not have to win every argument. Sometimes you can win the argument and lose your peace. You can prove that you're right and still damage a relationship. You can defeat someone verbally and still become a worse version of yourself. Ask yourself, what am I actually trying to achieve? If the goal is truth, have the conversation. If the goal is understanding, listen. If the goal is solving a problem, cooperate. But if the only goal is to make the other person feel defeated, you're probably feeding the ego. Stoicism teaches us to value character more than victory. Because winning an argument doesn't necessarily make you wise. Sometimes the wisest person in the room is the person who refuses to turn disagreement into war. The insult test. Here's a simple exercise you can use whenever someone insults you. When you hear an insult, silently ask yourself 3 questions. Question 1. Is it true? If yes, learn from it. If no, continue. Question 2. Is it useful? Even if the statement is unpleasant. Is there something you can learn? If yes, take the lesson. If no, continue. Question 3. Is responding necessary? If the answer is no, let it go. This three-question test can save you from countless unnecessary arguments. Truth, usefulness, necessity. If the insult has none of these qualities, why carry it? Don't insult back. When someone insults you, your ego may immediately say, give them the same treatment. They insult your intelligence. You insult theirs. They attack your appearance. You attack theirs. They raise their voice. You raise yours. Soon, the original issue disappears. Now two people are competing to hurt each other. The Stoic refuses this cycle, not because they are afraid, because they understand the cost. If someone behaves badly and you copy their behavior, you haven't defeated their behavior. You've joined it. Imagine someone throws mud at you. You throw mud back. Now both of you are covered in mud. The wiser choice may be to step away. You don't have to become cruel simply because someone else is cruel. Your character should not depend on the character of the person standing in front of you. The person who insults you may be testing your character. Think about difficult people differently. Instead of thinking, why is this person making my life difficult? Ask, what is this situation giving me the opportunity to practice? Patience, self-control, courage, calmness, boundaries, wisdom. If someone is rude to you, they have accidentally given you an opportunity to practice patience. If someone provokes you, they have given you an opportunity to practice self-control. If someone criticizes you, they have given you an opportunity to practice humility. This doesn't make their behavior acceptable. It changes your relationship with the situation. You stop seeing yourself only as the victim of the event. You start seeing yourself as the person responsible for what happens next. That is a powerful shift. Marcus Aurelius and the discipline of response. Marcus Aurelius lived in a world filled with political conflict, war, betrayal, pressure, responsibility, and personal difficulties. Yet one of the themes repeatedly associated with his philosophy is the importance of controlling your own mind. You cannot control the behavior of everyone around you, but you can control whether you become bitter because of it. Imagine someone behaving unfairly toward you. You have two choices. You can spend your energy thinking, people are terrible, or you can think, people sometimes behave badly. I will not allow their behavior to dictate mine. The second response protects your character. This is crucial. The goal isn't merely to avoid anger. The goal is to avoid becoming the kind of person you dislike. If someone is cruel to you, don't let their cruelty teach you cruelty. If someone lies to you, don't let their dishonesty teach you dishonesty. If someone is disrespectful, don't let their disrespect destroy your dignity. You control the person you become. The ego wants revenge. Why do insults hurt so much? Often, because the ego wants recognition. The ego says, they must know I am better. They must admit they were wrong. They must apologize. They must regret what they said. But what happens if they never apologize? What happens if they never understand? What happens if they continue believing their opinion? If your peace depends on their behavior changing, then your peace is outside your control. The Stoic solution is not necessarily to stop caring about justice. It is to stop making your inner peace dependent on another person's apology. Sometimes you will receive an apology. Sometimes you won't. Sometimes people will recognize your value. Sometimes they won't. Your responsibility is to live according to your values regardless. That is emotional independence. Don't explain yourself to everyone. There is a strange trap many people fall into. Someone misunderstands them. They immediately begin explaining, then explaining again, then proving, then sending messages, then showing evidence, then asking other people for validation. And eventually, they have spent enormous energy trying to convince someone who may not even care. Stoicism teaches a better approach. Explain yourself when explanation is useful. But don't make your life a courtroom where you must defend your existence before every judge. You don't need everyone to understand you. You don't need everyone to approve of you. You don't need everyone to like you. You need to know your principles, live by them, and let your actions speak. When someone insults you in public, public insults can feel especially painful. Why? Because embarrassment activates the ego. You suddenly think, everyone is watching. Everyone is judging me. I have to respond. But take a breath. Most people are far less focused on you than you imagine. And even if they are watching, your calm response can communicate more strength than an angry reaction. Imagine someone insults you in front of a group. You calmly say, "I don't think this conversation needs to become disrespectful." Then stop. You haven't surrendered. You've established a boundary. You haven't attacked. You've maintained dignity. And you've refused to let the crowd dictate your behavior. Remember, the loudest person is not necessarily the strongest person. Sometimes strength looks quiet. When someone insults you online, the internet creates a unique problem. Someone you have never met can type a sentence and ruin your mood. A stranger can criticize your appearance, mock your work, attack your opinions, question your intelligence. And because the screen is always in your hand, you can continue the argument for hours. The Stoic approach is simple. You don't owe every stranger your attention. You can ignore. You can mute. You can block. You can respond once. You can leave. The internet gives everyone a voice. It does not mean everyone deserves an audience. Your attention is one of your most valuable resources. Spend it carefully. Boundaries are not the opposite of Stoicism. Some people misunderstand Stoicism as just tolerate everything. No, Stoicism is not weakness. You can be calm and still have boundaries. You can say, "Please don't speak to me that way." You can say, "I am willing to discuss the issue, but not through insults." You can leave a toxic conversation. You can distance yourself from someone who repeatedly disrespects you. You can report inappropriate behavior when necessary. You can protect yourself. The difference is that you do these things from judgment rather than uncontrolled rage. Anger says, "I want to hurt you." Wisdom says, "I will not allow this behavior to continue." Those are very different motivations. The power of the calm response. Here are some calm responses you can use. If someone says, "You're stupid," you can say, "That's your opinion." If someone says, "I don't respect you," you can say, "You don't have to." If someone says, "You're a failure," you can say, "I'll let my actions speak for themselves." If someone is deliberately provoking you, you can say, "I'm not interested in arguing." If someone gives legitimate criticism, you can say, "I'll think about what you said." If the conversation becomes disrespectful, you can say, "We can continue when we can speak respectfully." Notice something. None of these responses require aggression. None require you to prove your worth. None require you to become cruel. They communicate self-control. Your character is built in these moments. It's easy to appear calm when everything is going well. The real test comes when someone pushes your buttons, when someone disrespects you, when someone lies about you, when someone embarrasses you, when someone challenges your ego. These moments reveal your habits. If you practice calmness during small provocations, you become better prepared for bigger challenges. Every difficult interaction becomes training. The next time someone annoys you, don't immediately think, "How can I make them stop?" Think, "How can I practice self-control right now?" That one question changes everything. You don't need to prove your worth. One of the deepest reasons insults hurt is insecurity. If you already doubt yourself, someone else's words can feel like confirmation. Someone says, "You're not good enough," and part of you thinks, "Maybe they're right." This is where inner work matters. You need to build a relationship with yourself that is stronger than outside opinions. Know your values. Know your weaknesses. Know your strengths. Know what you're working toward. Know what kind of person you want to become. Then when someone attacks you, you don't immediately collapse. You can examine the statement without allowing it to define you. You don't have to believe you're perfect. You only need to understand that your worth is not decided by one person's opinion. Do not confuse humility with self-hatred. Stoicism encourages humility, but humility doesn't mean thinking you're worthless. Humility means recognizing, "I can be wrong. I can improve. I don't know everything. I have weaknesses." At the same time, you can say, "I still deserve dignity. I still have value. I can learn without hating myself." This balance is important. When someone criticizes you, don't respond with, "I'm terrible." Instead say, "Maybe I made a mistake. What can I learn?" That's accountability without self-destruction. What if the person keeps insulting you? If someone repeatedly insults you, the solution may not be a better comeback. The solution may be distance. Think about it. If a person repeatedly disrespects you, why keep entering the same environment expecting a different result? You cannot always avoid difficult people. Maybe it's a coworker. Maybe it's a family member. Maybe it's someone you must interact with. But you can often reduce unnecessary contact. You can establish boundaries. You can keep conversations short. You can refuse to engage with provocations. And when necessary, seek appropriate support. Stoicism teaches responsibility for your response. It does not require you to remain in harmful situations. Don't let one person define your entire day. This is a practical rule worth remembering. Never allow one unpleasant interaction to consume the rest of your day. Someone was rude at 9 a.m. Why should they still control your mood at 7 p.m.? The event lasted minutes. Your mind extended it. You can stop the extension. Say to yourself, that interaction is over. Then return to your life. Work, exercise, family, learning, rest. Your future deserves more attention than someone's past words. The Stoic secret. Reduce the size of the insult. Sometimes the mind makes an insult bigger than it really is. Someone says, "You are terrible at this." Your mind translates it into, "I am terrible." Then, "I'll never succeed." Then, "Everyone thinks I'm useless." Then, "My life is going nowhere." One sentence becomes a story. Stop the story. Return to the facts. What actually happened? Someone criticized one aspect of your behavior. That's all. Don't turn a sentence into an identity. Don't turn a moment into a destiny. Don't turn one person's opinion into your entire self-image. This is mental discipline. Practice the pause. Starting today, practice a simple exercise. Whenever someone says something that triggers you, do not respond immediately. Pause for 3 seconds. Breathe. Ask, what response would make me proud tomorrow? Not, what response would feel satisfying right now? Those are different questions. The angry response may feel satisfying for 10 seconds. But tomorrow, you may regret it. The calm response may feel difficult for 10 seconds. But tomorrow, you may respect yourself for it. Always choose the response your future self can respect. The best revenge is self-mastery. People often say, the best revenge is success. But there is something even deeper. The best revenge is not allowing the person who hurt you to transform you into someone you don't want to become. If someone tries to make you angry and you remain calm, they failed. If someone tries to make you bitter and you remain kind, they failed. If someone tries to make you doubt yourself and you continue improving, they failed. If someone tries to drag you into chaos and you choose peace, they failed. Your greatest victory is not making them suffer. It is remaining in control of yourself. A Stoic daily practice. If you want to become better at handling insults, practice every evening. Ask yourself 5 questions. 1. What disturbed me today? Identify the event. 2. What did I tell myself about it? Identify your interpretation. 3. Was my interpretation completely accurate? Challenge your assumptions. 4. What was within my control? Focus on your response. 5. How can I respond better next time? Turn the experience into training. This takes only a few minutes, but over time, it can dramatically improve emotional control. Imagine the worst before it happens. The Stoics sometimes practiced negative visualization. You can use a simple version of it. Before entering a difficult environment, remind yourself, someone may disagree with me. Someone may misunderstand me. Someone may criticize me. Someone may be rude. Then tell yourself, if it happens, I will remain calm. This doesn't mean expecting disaster. It means preparing your mind. If you expect every person to be kind, you will be shocked by rudeness. If you understand that difficult people exist, you are less surprised. And when you're less surprised, you're less reactive. You cannot control respect, but you can control dignity. This distinction is beautiful. You cannot force someone to respect you, but you can behave in a way that respects yourself. You can speak honestly. You can keep your promises. You can admit mistakes. You can avoid unnecessary cruelty. You can establish boundaries. You can walk away when necessary. You can live according to your values. That is dignity. And dignity doesn't require applause. When you should respond. Let's make this practical. You should consider responding when someone has made a serious false accusation. A misunderstanding needs clarification. A boundary has been crossed. Your safety or livelihood is involved. A relationship matters, and honest communication could repair it. Constructive criticism deserves discussion. But even then, respond with purpose. Don't respond simply because your ego demands an immediate victory. Ask, what outcome do I want? Then choose the response that moves you toward that outcome. The Stoic view of reputation. Many people are terrified of what others think, but reputation is partly outside your control. You can behave honestly and still be misunderstood. You can work hard and still be criticized. You can do good things and still be disliked. If you make your peace dependent on universal approval, you will never have peace. Instead, focus on your character. Ask, am I acting according to my values? If yes, continue. Your reputation may change from person to person. Your character is something you build through repeated choices. The final lesson from insults. An insult can become one of two things. It can become poison, or it can become training. You decide. If you obsess over it, it becomes poison. If you learn from it, it becomes training. If it reveals a weakness, improve. If it is false, release it. If it is meant to provoke you, don't give it the reaction it wants. If a boundary is required, establish it calmly. If the conversation is pointless, walk away. This is Stoic strength. Not becoming emotionless. Becoming emotionally disciplined. Become unshakable. The next time someone insults you, remember this. You do not control their words. You control your response. You do not control their opinion. You control your character. You do not control whether they respect you. You control whether you respect yourself. You do not control their behavior. You control your behavior. You do not control what happened. You control what happens next. And that is where your power lives. So when someone tries to provoke you, pause. Breathe. Observe. Ask whether there is truth in their words. If there is truth, learn. If there is useful criticism, improve. If there is nothing useful, release it. If a boundary is necessary, set it. If the conversation is pointless, walk away. But don't surrender your peace simply because someone else has lost theirs. Remember, you don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. You don't have to answer every insult. You don't have to prove your worth to everyone. You don't have to become cruel because someone else is cruel. And you don't have to win every battle. Sometimes the greatest victory is simply remaining yourself. The person who insulted you may forget the conversation tomorrow. Don't carry their words into your future. Let them speak. Let them judge. Let them misunderstand. You keep building. You keep learning. You keep improving. You keep your principles. You keep your peace. Because a truly strong mind is not one that never gets attacked. It is one that cannot easily be controlled by the attacks. Your calmness is your strength. Your self-control is your power. Your character is your answer. And your peace is not something other people get to take from you. So the next time someone insults you, don't immediately ask, what should I say back? Ask, what kind of person do I want to be in this moment? That question can change everything because the insult belongs to them, but your response belongs to you. And that is the essence of Stoic strength. Stay calm, stay disciplined, stay focused, and never give another person's words more power than your own character deserves. Thanks for watching and subscribe my channel Animal Forte.